to undo the sanctions against Russia. He's clearly trying to stop Ukraine from any defense.
You know, my mother lived through the Holocaust, and my father got out before the war, so I consider myself lucky. And the fact that he turns around and he sides with a war criminal, and then unilaterally, not only does he make the policy change, but he does it in front of the cameras. Oh, this will make good TV. It was disgusting.
Hey, it's Jordan. I am in Flint, Michigan, East Palestine, Ohio, Tumwa, Iowa. Please support the only independent outlet on the ground covering what the corporate media covers up.
Zelensky is a hero! 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 Zelensky is a hero!
Yeah, siding with Putin and Russia. What the hell? He's handing a silver platter to Putin, a war criminal. Okay, he's got arrest warrants, folks. Arrest warrants. He's abusing the victim here, Ukraine. That's not right. We can't do that shit. Not in America. Not anywhere in the world.
My name is Suzanne Esper, and I'm deeply distrustful of what's going on. Trump's siding globally with the Russian power, with Russia and China. Deeply distressed about what will happen in the future. To me, it's so clear that there's endless corruption. Endless corruption. It's been going on for some time. It's so evident, it disturbs me that there aren't enough people speaking out about it and what's happening. And deeply distressed with what's happening with our government and what's happening with so many people who are silent about the issue.
Fox News lies! Fox News lies! Fox News lies! Fox News lies!
It's awful because Putin has been killing his own people for years, locking people up. And, you know, he's a dictator. And Trump, I think he's a wannabe dictator, and he's working on it. We're getting there. And Russia's been, you know, for a while they began to be okay when they moved out of the Eastern Bloc countries, but he's going to take them over again. And Donald, I'm fearing that what's going to happen is the U.S., Russia, North Korea, maybe some of these other really dictatorship-type countries are going to become like an axis that we started in the 30s and 40s. So it seems to be headed that direction.
I'm really scared because I have a sister who's a born-again Christian, and she believes that the main reason to support Trump is because of the abortion. But I'm starting to believe that it's more about wokeness, because Russia is a much more white supremacist society than we are. And when we look at the things that are happening in the past few days of cutting off military aid for Ukraine and also stopping the cyber monitoring of Russia and dropping the sanctions off of Russia, I think that it's all in part of the philosophy to try to turn this country into a much more bigoted place that controls the society and oppresses people. I'm not an expert, but I've been in Russia for a few weeks, and it's a palpably depressing, oppressed place. And it's terrifying that we're going down that road. And if anybody saw Trump and Vance on Friday, it's obvious whose side they are on. It's been 8 years that Trump doesn't want to say anything bad about Russia, but he's berating a man who's obviously a beautiful soul and a fucking hero.
I just wonder, like, when Donald Trump watches World War II movies, does he root for the Nazis? You know, like, it's a strange question, but seriously, like, it's just so horrible, and it's 250 years of America at least trying to, you know, promote democracy just right down the toilet, and it's so disturbing. I feel like this has never happened. I can't think of any democracy anywhere. Like, it's historically unprecedented, not just in the United States, but what other country has done that? You know, for no reason, taken a perfectly good, economically viable, mostly healthy democracy and just handed it to a dictator. You know, I mean, Putin was, I guess, playing the long game, and I guess he's very good at playing that game. It's really distressing.
Talk to me. You believe Trump is a Russian asset?
Yeah, I mean, you put together all the evidence. I mean, he stops the cyber surveillance of Russia. He wants to undo the sanctions against Russia. He's clearly trying to stop Ukraine from any defense, and he wants Russia to have its free raid of Ukraine. And we knew in 2016 that the Russians were trying to help Trump get elected. Why are they trying to do that? And then during the Mueller investigation, okay, Mueller didn't find proven evidence, but Trump did do a lot of obstruction of justice all through that. Why is he obstructing the investigation unless there clearly is some collusion between Trump and Putin? So it's been going on a long time, but now he's gotten to a position where he can do all that Putin wants. He's given Putin tons of gifts and nothing in return. So they say this is a negotiating tactic, but what kind of negotiating tactic is it if he gives Putin everything Putin wants? In his private meeting, remember also in his first term, they had a private meeting with the Russian officials, and without the translators, he didn't let anyone else in the room. Why is that? What's the secret? He's so clearly tied with Putin. And this country, the fact that a fair fraction of people haven't, it's like they don't have the imagination to actually believe that could possibly be true. It's just like they just don't want to believe it, so they don't believe it.
We've somehow managed to elect someone who is, if not willingly, then foolishly in the pocket of Putin. And either he's a Russian asset or he's just completely against everything that democracy stands for. And I can't even believe that a third of our country elected him, but here's where we are. Whether or not that's actually how it happened or not, I don't know. But what I do know is that what he's doing is dismantling everything that our country stands for one piece at a time, and it's got to stop.
Fascism, maybe he was a tank commander, having to face off tanks superior to our tanks. Every time they went out, they never knew. At the end of the war, he was very badly wounded in a hospital for a year. And I was old enough as a kid to remember. But people don't remember. It's a nice movie or they read a book. It's horrifying to me what's happening right now for the Ukrainian people.
I mean, they're basically trying to rewrite history here.
Oh yeah, wipe it right off, and then there won't be any sign left. It'll just be a great big rolling wheat field, breadbasket for Russia and the rest of Europe that still remains. Because this really is the first domino to go. It already started when they took Crimea, and we unfortunately did not react.
I believe in our nation in so many ways as being the leader of the world, and by siding with a dictator, and that we know. It doesn't mean I don't want everybody to agree with each other. That's idealistic. So I really am very angry about what happened, and I really pray for peace for the Ukrainians.
Yeah, it's crazy. Trump is saying that Zelensky and Ukrainians don't want peace. Nobody wants peace more than Ukrainians.
More than the people that are being killed.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the people that are being killed. I mean, he was sitting there in his military uniform, mourning in his black, mourning for the people who have died. That's what it was all about.
To my view, this is a total abomination. That what he's doing is he's not only undercutting the whole post-World War position of America, but he's going further, and he's destroying the hope of people who are trying to gain freedom. And as I told you earlier, my mother lived through the Holocaust, and my father got out before the war, so I consider myself lucky. But when you think of people who don't have that freedom, and the fact that he turns around and he sides with a war criminal, a man who murders people with no conscience whatsoever, and then unilaterally, not only does he make the policy change, but he does it in front of the cameras. Oh, this will make good TV. It was disgusting. And tonight is the State of the Union, and needless to say, I feel passionate about it. And I write a lot of letters to the editor. I express my opinion. And the tragedy is you think to yourself, do I have to live in fear because one of his goons are going to retaliate against me? Are they going to bring a prosecution against me? Now, I'm a lawyer, but I can't defend myself because then you have a fool for a client. But in terms of the big picture, John, I can only tell you that where we are is so dangerous and so volatile. And even though they said, even J.D. Vance called Trump at one point America's Hitler, okay? But putting aside the name calling, what you have is fundamentally, is that what you have is a situation where people are running roughshod, not only on America, but America's position in the world. And it's the beacon of hope, and as trite or as sentimental as that, it's a fact. And the Statue of Liberty, that's what people lived for. People came across to America and they took that boat, and it all sounds very sentimental, but guess what? My father came to America in '39 to see the World's Fair and saved his life. And so I know what this is like, not personally, but I got it, secondhand, and you don't forget that. So I can say by way of emphasis that tonight, what you're having, as I see it, is the State of the Union, and you're going to have people probably making some serious noise to demonstrate just how outrageous this is. And just as a footnote, I'm glad you asked, okay? Because what do? A lot of us feel helpless as individuals, but we're not. And thank God for technology. And I had a moment of clarity, and I wrote a letter to every Republican senator, because so someone sent me the directory of all the senators, and it's easy to code it. They have certain buildings, there's 3 buildings, there's a room number. Dear Senator Ray, America's future. In larger font, grow a spine. Very truly yours, Stephen A. Lutson. And I sent that to 50 people. Now, are they going to grow a spine? Probably not. But do I feel better that I did that? Fortuitously, there was a cartoon where Doonesbury had a picture of someone whose spine was going down till he was really, as you say, back in his own behind, right? But the point means I added that to my email. I sent it to other people. They're sending it to other people. Is this going to go viral? Probably not. But my premise is we all have to stand up. You cannot be a bystander, because that's how people get away with this. And it's so obvious in our own, not my lifetime, but I was born right after the war, but that's how people get away with murder, literally. And I'm not well, in effect, Putin got away with murder. And for him to then persuade Trump, who obviously is vulnerable because he doesn't have a vision, he doesn't have principles. All he cares about is power, and all he cares about are the optics. And for them to bring in a president like Zelensky and to embarrass him publicly, and he stood up to them. Yeah. And that's an example we all have to follow.
Right, I was going to ask you about Democrats and what they've done. It seems that their response to all of this that's been going on the past couple months has been very tame.
It's been very tame.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, I'm a little angry at, Biden was a wonderful president. He did so much good things, but he wasn't loud enough. And his message didn't get across. My friends from the Dakotas and places like this don't realize that he passed something like 40 bipartisan bills. They don't know that happened because there wasn't enough advertising from either the administration or from the Congress. And so now there's only one message coming from these people and from President Trump. It's like I listened to the tape of the interview, and it was awful. I mean, anybody with common sense could see what was going on in that interview, yet they're able to turn it around and make Trump seem like he's the hero out of there.
You're talking about the interview?
The interview in the interview with Zelensky in the office. Yeah,
that was
awful.
Insane. I mean, Putin definitely approved of that. They basically said that everything that the Trump administration is doing is aligning with their interests.
Yes, they will. It's one of Putin's, I don't know, his advisors had said that they helped. They didn't say it in so many words, but they did help Trump get elected. Money, behind the scenes kinds of advertising, and he said that now they expect Trump to reciprocate, and he is. Because he's basically a coward. The man is an insecure, and he's not very bright. None of this is happening. He doesn't have the ability to do some of the things that are going on. That's why he hired Musk.